All right, so slope. First of all, what does slope mean? Well, slope is just how steep anything is. Okay? So there are lots and lots of examples of slope in the world. We've got mountains, we've got stairs, the roof of a house or a building. And in actuality, even a floor has a slope and a wall has a slope. So almost everything has a slope to it. Okay? So all you need to know is slope means how steep anything is. Oops, need that is here. How steep anything is. Okay? And the reason I say specifically anything is, again, we aren't talking about just math. Slope is everywhere in the world. So I talked before about the slope formula. Okay? M equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Some of you may actually know it as rise over run. Okay? And when we are using slope to graph, we always need to think y first. In other words, we do that first, and then x is second when we're graphing. Okay? But again, slope is just how steep anything is. Rise over run is a math definition. Okay? So in order to use the slope formula, we have to have 2 points. So if we're going to find a slope, then we have 2 points. And remember, every point has 2 coordinates. An x and a y, and it must be in that order. So now, in order to be able to use my formula, I need to know which x and which y I'm using. So I'm going to label these as x sub 1 and y sub 1. That's my sub 1 point. And x sub 2 and y sub 2. That's my sub 2 point. If I had 15 of these, I would keep going. X sub 3, y sub 3, x sub 4, y sub 4, x sub 15, y sub 15. And then whatever I needed, whichever coordinate I need, if it says, say, x sub 14, I would look at all my points and see which one was x sub 14. That's the one I'd pick. So those are just designations to help us understand which coordinate to pick up. So m, and always when you're writing slope, m equals, unless it's undefined, which is for a vertical line. So m equals y sub 2, well, that's my -5 minus, and then my y sub 1 here, that's 9, over x sub 2, well, that's 3, minus 6. Notice that, be very careful, minus a minus, okay, from the formula, and then this coordinate is actually minus. So now I just need to do the calculations. In my numerator here, this is an addition problem whose signs are the same, so I add the numbers, keep the sign. In my denominator, the first thing I need to do is get rid of my parentheses, so a negative times a negative is a positive, and now I can just finish this up, -14 over 9. Let's do a couple more. Okay, what if I have these 2 points? 4 and 0, and 0 and -3. Well, let's make this be x sub 1, y sub 1. Let's do it the other way. Let's make this be x sub 2 and y sub 2, because it doesn't really matter as long as both of these their subs are the same. So then this one would have to be x sub 1 and y sub 1. So m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So now I've got m equals 0 plus 3, negative times a negative is a positive, over 4 minus 0 is 4, and 0 plus 3 is 3, 3/4. Okay? Let's do another one. Okay? So if I have the 2 points 0, 2, and 1, 2, this will be my x sub 1, my y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. So m equals 2 minus 0 over 1 minus 0. No, excuse me, I got that wrong. Let's do this again. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Okay, y sub 2 minus y sub 1. And x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Now this is going to be 0 over 1. Well, any 0 over anything is 0. Oh, and remember I told you in the introduction that when slope is 0, this is a horizontal line. And our equation would be y equals some number. Well, in this case, if you notice, our y coordinate in both cases is 2. So y equals 2. So if you notice that when you have 2 points, the y coordinates are both the same, automatically you should go, oh, that's a horizontal line, so my slope is 0. If that's all you're trying to find, you're done. If you are also trying to find the equation, then it's just y equals whatever the y coordinate is. Okay? Let's look at this next one. Negative 6 over 0. And negative 6, not over, 6, 1. Okay, so slope equals, x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. That just keeps me on track. As you saw, I needed on the last one to be kept on track. So 1 minus 0 over negative 6 minus negative 6. So this is m equals 1 over negative 6 plus 6. M equals, oh, and I cannot have this. That means our slope is undefined. Okay? Well, remember I told you that when the slope is undefined, that means we've got a vertical line. And the equation for a vertical line is going to be x equals some number. Well, guess what? What is our x coordinate here? Well, it's the same. So x equals negative 6. And again, if you happen to notice that in your 2 points, both of the x coordinates are exactly the same, then you should say, oh, well, then the slope's undefined because this is a vertical line. And you're done if all you needed was slope. If you needed the equation as well, then x equals the x coordinate, whatever that is, and you're done. Okay? So, real quick, let's go back here. If you notice, in our first example here, our slope is negative. That means our line, when we draw it, has to go in this direction. That is a negative slope. Whereas this one down here is positive. So it means our line has to go in this direction. Here, our slope is 0, meaning it's a horizontal line, so our line goes this way. And here, our slope is undefined, so that's a vertical line, means our line goes this way. Sorry about that. Forgot to turn my phone off. I apologize. Okay, so in actuality, what I want to do next is show you some other things about slope, but I want to make sure I have enough time to do it, so I'm going to do it in the next video. So make sure to take good notes from this video and move on to the next one.